it to my computer. Okay, there you go.
Perfect. There you go.
Well, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kathy Nichols. I'm friends with Luann. We adore her. Um,
Who
I don't know
doesn't?
how, if Luann has mentioned how we kind of know each other, but she worked with my husband for I can't even tell you 20 years
Yeah,
almost.
probably 20.
Wow.
Yeah. Um, so, anyways, so thank you so much, Luann, for reaching out to me and getting this group of ladies together. I'm going to just share a little bit about um, just my experience. I actually went on a Gate One Christmas market cruise last Christmas with my girlfriends. So I'm very familiar with the whole experience, what they have to offer. I was telling Luann that um, it is a great line, and especially for Christmas markets in terms of river cruising. Um, they have, like all the other river cruise lines, they have a um, somebody who kind of does some entertainment in the evening, and they have a cruise director, and the cruise director is really going to help you with all the things you need to know on the ship. So they're going to communicate all of the activities that are going to be going on in the ship. They'll talk to you about the excursions that are going on in the ship. Oftentimes, the cruise director and the guy who's kind of the entertainment, or the woman who's the entertainment, they will split up and go with the excursions and do that kind of thing. So you'll have somebody on the ship that can answer questions about the local area, give you recommendations for restaurants that when you get off the ship, if you go out and explore on your own, they'll be able to give you some recommendations. They can tell you about shopping. If you like, it wasn't this particular river cruise, but on my last river cruise, I had an allergic reaction to something I ate. I have no idea. I've never figured out what it was, but I ended up needing to go to the pharmacy at like 10:30 at night
Mm.
and to get some Benadryl because I didn't have any. And so they made sure that they actually ended up taking care of it for me. They went and, you know, sent somebody, a courier, to go get it. So I didn't have to go off the ship at 10 o'clock at night. But they're a really great resource. So you're going to have somebody there who's going to be able to assist you while you're on the ship. So I wanted you to know that. Um, the other things, I'm going to pull up the trip summary now that you each have an individual trip summary that has your information that relates to your specific cruise, which includes your invoices and all of that. Let me share my screen real quick. Give me a moment. I apologize. There we go. So you should be able to see my screen now. Can you see the
Yeah.
screen?
Yeah.
So this is the overall one. This is the one that we used initially to just kind of, it was basically the proposal so you could kind of see things. I've added a few things here, but I just want to draw attention to some of the things. Let me put it in preview mode so you can actually see it. So this will be similar to what you see if you click on your individual link. Um, and I don't know if you remember, but when I sent you the email, you have two options. One of them is to look at it on the web, which is what we're currently doing. The other is to look at it on an app. And the app you'll download, it's called, let me just confirm I don't want to give you the wrong name. It's called the Trip Plans app. So you will download that Trip Plans app to your phone, and then you'll open up the email that had the link. You can open up that email on your phone. And if you click the link that says mobile or app, when you do that, it'll automatically populate into that Trip Plans app for you. And then it's accessible to you all the time on that app. So those are the two ways to view it. This is also the place that you're going to go to for all the information related to your cruise. So for example, we have information, just an overview. So we have information. So I've given you an overview, the dates. And obviously these dates I had mentioned, if you guys have different pre and post, if you decide you're going to stay after, or you decide you're going to go early, we can make arrangements for that, or you can do that on your own, whatever you decide. It's up to you. If you want it included on this trip summary, then you'll just have to forward me the confirmations if you end up booking something. So just whenever you book your flights, if you could forward me the confirmations from the airlines, I can get all of that information added into this document for you too. So whenever you decide to book your flights, just let me know and you will forward that to me. Whatever the day, just about flights, I'm going to just deviate here a little. If you're ready to book your flights, be aware that the arrival date, if you are going to arrive on the embarkation date, and for example, you want to use the transfers from gate one, you're going to fly into Munich and your flight will take off the night before, just so you're aware. So when you look at your travel dates, you want to start the night before the date you want to arrive. All of the flights are going to arrive in the morning into Munich. And just make sure that your arrival date is the day of embarkation. And then if you decide you can sign up for the transfer that gate one will provide, and then they would it would be a group transfer and they would transfer you directly to the ship. So
But
I just
Kathy,
wanted
we're going to Budapest, right? First, not Munich.
Oh, you know what? Yes, sorry,
Okay.
sorry,
Oh,
sorry.
that's
My
okay.
brain. No, you're
That's
right.
okay.
Budapest. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. I think you're leaving out of Munich, aren't you?
Yes, correct.
Yep, sorry. Sorry. Yes, Budapest. So either way, it doesn't matter if it's Budapest, wherever you go into Europe, generally you leave the night before. So just be aware, just make sure that your arrival date, if you want to use the transfers from gate one, that you are arriving the morning of embarkation. Otherwise, you'll have to get transportation on your own, which I'm more than happy to help coordinate. It's not that hard, but I just wanted to make you aware. So let me go back up here in terms of the information, and we'll kind of get into more of the details. But you can see there's the ship, what ship you are. You can use this link and you can go look at the actual ship. It talks about what's included in your package. It also gives you just a little special features of things you're going to see while you're on your cruise. Wine and beer is included with dinners. And then anytime else, if you order from the bar on the main area or you order cocktails, those are all going to be a la carte. I will tell you, they're not that expensive. I think if I paid $8 for a drink, that was a lot. And I didn't really do that. Every single night they had like a specialty drink. And you ladies will probably, I know Luann will laugh about it, but we were probably the youngest ones on the cruise, on this particular cruise. It was over Thanksgiving. We were there like at Thanksgiving, and we were definitely one of the younger of the group. There was maybe a handful that were our age. Most of the people were a little bit older. And one of the nights, the first night, I think they had like the Cosmo was their specialty drink, and it was like a specialty price or whatever. And so my girlfriends and I are like, there was just the four of us, and we're like, oh, we'll drink Cosmos. That's great. Well, we took a sip of the Cosmo, and one of my friends was like, there's nothing in this drink. Like, is there any alcohol? I was like, I don't know. So she walks up to the bar and she's like, hey, can I just get like a little topper? And he's like, sure. He literally hands her the whole bottle. And then she's like at our little table, just like topping them all off, or whatever. And so we jokingly called it Stacy's Way. So the next day, he made the drink of the night the Cosmo Stacy's Way.
Oh, right. Oh, that's
And
great.
then everybody loves Stacy's Cosmo. So every single night it was the drink of the night, and
Oh,
everybody was
that's
just
funny.
like drinking Cosmos. That's just the kind of ship it is. It's just really
Right.
fun. They were really funny. It was, and then everybody just kind of came over. Did you make that drink? That was so much fun. And it's just a very welcoming and social environment of
Right.
river cruises.
Right.
Um, Even, it's just designed that way. So anyway, so yes, you will pay for some of the premium spirits, but it's not terribly expensive. Um, Let me see what else. They do have on the ship, which is kind of cool. Um, I think it's on the third floor. They have this little coffee area that you can get. It's almost like they have like little biscuits and crackers and cookies set up. And this is where if you just wanted to go get coffee in the morning or whatever. And it's at the back of the ship. It's got really great furniture. You can just sit there and hang out. I was working a little bit during my trip, so I would get up in the morning and I would go and do some work in the morning. My friends and I, like a lot of the excursions would leave early in the morning, and we're like, we're not doing it. We were just, our goal there was just to go look at the Christmas markets. We weren't going to go to any of the Salzburg or any of the other places. So we let everybody else clear out of the ship. And we just sat in that coffee area by ourselves for a little while, chatting. And then probably 10:30 in the morning, we would get up and get off the ship and start going to the markets and things. It's a really great area to meet up. Um, um, yeah, it's just a really nice little area. So in addition to the lounge, that's an area that you can meet up with your friends and sit and have coffee or conversation. Um, let's see, gratuities aren't included, transfers aren't included, the travel protection, which we've talked about before in emails and things like that, and then the optional shore excursions. This area right here is just know before you go is about the high and low water. They can't control the water levels in the on the rivers, so there may be a time where they have to um, they'll stop somewhere and swap ships, or you'll go by bus and just miss parts of the river and then they'll catch up somewhere else. It's very common. It did not happen to us at all. We were able to sail the entire time. The only delay we had was on our way to Vienna, and it was more about the cruise traffic. There's locks on the river, and something had happened in the evening to one of the locks. And so everybody was delayed getting through the locks during this one point to get to Vienna. And so a few of the ships had to like kind of stop in this tiny little town. And I think we stopped for like 20 minutes, just moved out of the way so that we could get all the traffic back in line to get to the area. But we actually enjoyed that too, because the majority of our sailing was done at night. And so you can't see anything as it's like, it's dark. So you couldn't see anything. So it was really fun to wake up in the morning and have that sailing going on in the morning. And we were able to watch some of the towns and people on the sides because you can see side to side on the most of the river. And so people were out there waving at you, and they were so excited to see people. And we saw a bunch of little kids and dogs playing on the sides along the river. And it was a great morning. So um, you'll have to have some flexibility in that way, but it was wonderful. Um, we talked about that you all have your pricing. So under your pricing terms and conditions, this is where you're going to find out your specific information about your stateroom category, the room number, how much you paid, all of that. And then here is the final payment due date. Just so you know, this is the date it's due to gate one. I will be asking to collect the payment 10 days early. The reason I do that is because sometimes people have had credit cards that were compromised and they have to go back and get stuff taken care of with their banks. Or sometimes the banks don't allow the processing of the payment to go through because they flag it as fraud, or there's a plethora of things that can go wrong, or the payment sites are down. And I never like to wait to the last minute, because the whether or not there's an issue on their end or on our end, the cruise lines are not very flexible with their final payment dates. And if a final payment date goes by and it's not paid in full, they will cancel it in full penalty, and you'll get nothing back. And if you can rebook it, they may rebook it at a higher price. So I always try to make sure that the payments are in early. So you'll receive an email reminder that you have an early payment. At the payment date, it'll say the final payment date is due 10 days before this. And that's because I always put a buffer so we can make sure that there's no issues. Okay. Do you guys have questions about that?
No,
Is
but
that
you could probably say for us that it basically our final payment would be due to you August 15th, roughly, correct?
correct?
Okay.
And here's another thing. When you submit your credit card authorization form, that is not the payment going directly to the vendor. That is just an authorization form. It's getting sent to me stating I can go ahead and make that payment on your behalf, which is another thing that people don't understand. Sometimes people wait until like the last minute and they submit it to me, and it's like the payment was due at 5 p.m. and you submitted it at 6 p.m. Like you have to give me time to submit the payment. That's the other reason why I try to make sure I have everything in advance, so that there's no issues.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and then this is the gate one terms and conditions, so you can look at that at any time. The travel protection information is in another section and it's always available for you all. So I'm going to scroll past that. I've kind of been keeping up on instructions for you and what's the next thing. And then I will update them after this because I know we've done a lot of different things, but you can keep looking here for instructions of next steps. I will update them as time goes on. And when I update them, I'll just send you an email like, hey, I've updated the next steps in your trip summary. So your invoice and credit card authorization form will be in this section, and that's what you'll have your actual invoice from gate one showing what you have currently signed up for. So that you don't even need to email me and say, hey, did I add that transfer? If you go to that invoice, you'll be able to see. And if it's not on there, then you can just email me and say, hey, I need the transfer, blah, blah, blah. Can you add that? And then I'll add it. And then I'll just add that new invoice on the trip summary.
Kathy, I have a question.
Sure.
Regarding that invoice, is that where
Mhm.
we would put our excursion, say we wanted to go to Salzburg or whatever? That's where we would put that, or we would see that as well?
Correct. So
Okay.
so I haven't added anything to anyone's yet because we hadn't really had a conversation to talk. I know some
Okay.
people were talking about it. Some people were saying yes and no, and I want to talk to everyone. So I thought I'm going to get everyone in one place. We'll talk about it. And then afterwards, I'll have you all reply by email all at one time. So I can just go into the system and just do it all at one time and say, okay, these are the people who are doing it. These are the people who are not. I will submit all of the information, get your new invoice. I will put it onto your trip summary, and then I will just have you confirm that the information on the trip summary is correct on your invoice. And then we should be good.
Okay.
Yeah. Embarkation will be at 2 p.m. on that embarkation day. What that means is that is the earliest time you can go to the ship.
Okay.
So for example, we stayed in we had embarkation in Regensburg. So we actually stayed the night before in Regensburg, and then we had to check out of the hotel in the morning. We just left our luggage there at the hotel. They just kept it for us, and we went and did some of the Christmas markets that day. And then around 4 p.m., we made our way to the ship. In Regensburg, it was easy to walk. We didn't even need a car. We walked from our hotel to the port, to the ship. Once it gets closer to the actual trip, we'll do another Zoom meeting and I'll talk to you about the process for embarkation. I'll make sure all of those details. To talk about it now is probably you aren't going to remember. Unless you have a specific question, I'm happy to answer any of those, but I just want you to be aware of like the times and things like that. And like it said, you can drop off the luggage prior to check-in, but you won't really be able to go into the ship before 2, generally. You won't be able to get to your room for sure. So, let's see. Again, here's the information about the cost for the transfer. The transfer for Budapest transfer from airport to the port is $66. It's a group transfer, and they would meet you at the airport, and then you would just leave your luggage for them to load onto the bus, and then you'll go on the bus, and then they'll take everybody. In order to be a part of that group transfer, obviously I would have to provide them with your flight information. So again, that's the other piece of the importance of you making sure that you send me the actual flight confirmation. Sometimes people just put like AA121 and whatever, or they just say, I'm arriving at 12 p.m. I actually need the whole confirmation. And then I give that to them, and then they have a system that they use to manage all of the guests on board. Any questions about that?
No.
Luann, do you have a question? She's on mute.
I do. Sorry, I'm coughing, so I don't want to
No,
ask.
you're
I mean,
good. I
I don't
can't
want to
see
cough
your
in your
face,
face.
but I saw a hand.
Yeah.
It was me. I was trying to unmute. So, but if we go a day early because we're nervous about it, then we can get a transfer not
Yes.
with the group. We just get our own and it takes us to whatever hotel we're staying at.
Yeah, I can arrange a hotel. I can arrange a transfer from the airport to the hotel, and I can arrange a transfer from the hotel to the port.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yes. All of those things can be arranged. Yeah. I have a really great transfer, like a company that I use that I love. So yes. Yeah. Okay. Um, obviously then that first day's embarkation, they talk to you about all the things, river cruising, you'll have dinner on the ship. The next day, they offer a city tour that you can go be a part of. That is not an extra cost. So, and let me just make sure you understand that any of the tours that are not an extra cost are not things that you have to sign up for ahead of time.
Okay.
Okay. So the tours that are included on the ship that are free, you can just make that decision when you're there. And the night before, generally, the cruise director will go over all of the information about what you should expect the next day. So it'll tell you, okay, these are the tours that we're offering. If you want to be a part of this tour, you need to be down in the lounge at X time. Um, sometimes they have you pick up little colored tickets. And those tickets generally coincide with buses because sometimes you go to a port that you actually have to get on a bus to actually get to the area where you would go and explore Christmas markets, or like Salzburg, you're going to have to take a bus. So they'll give you a colored coded ticket. I will tell you, if you all want to be on the same bus, get the same ticket.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people will trade if like you get down there too late and you're, whatever. Um, just, so make sure so you'll know what to do. Again, the only ones that they have that you need to reserve ahead of time are the ones that are paid early. So that's the Vienna, recital, and Salzburg.
Okay.
Okay. Then you'll go to Bratislava. Um, and then the next day is Vienna. I loved Vienna. Vienna is beautiful. Um, St. Stephen's Cathedral is like gorgeous. There's Christmas markets there. There are so many Christmas markets in Vienna. We walked to almost all of them. Um, we did at one point, so when we were in Vienna, we did have to take uh we ended up taking an Uber, I think. So we did the Vienna city tour and took the bus that they had to get us to the Christmas market. So we were dropped off at the Opera House, I think, and then we were dropped off at this one right here. These are pictures, by the way, from when I was there. So
Oh,
we
cool.
were dropped off at this particular Christmas market. And so we went and did this whole Christmas market, and then we had a map of all the other Christmas markets. And so after we got dropped off here, we took the whole day and just went and walked around. They told you there was buses that were going to be going back and forth to the port from this area throughout the day. But I think their last one was at maybe 5 o'clock because there were people who were going to the Vienna recital. So people were going back, getting changed to go to the recital, and then they were coming back. Well, we weren't going to the recital, and we were like, we're just going to go and wander around. So we stayed out in Vienna. We went and had dinner in Vienna. We did all the things. We made sure we were back by, I think we got back 8 or 9 o'clock, but we just took an Uber back. And when we were on the ship, we told them that we're not gonna take the bus back. So can you give us the address? Is there something that we can have that had the address so we could get back to the ship? So they gave us a little piece of paper with the address on it, and we instead of keeping the paper, we took pictures of everything. Just so you know, like that was our whole thing: take pictures of everything. So we had it on our phone no matter what. Everybody had to take the picture because what if one of us lost our phone? We were just being the crazy traveling ladies. Um, so that's how we ended up just giving the address, and then we just took an Uber back, and it was fine. It was great. So you'll have the option to do that. But it was stunning. And this at night, lit up at night, was breathtaking. And this is the church. This is the picture I took of the church at night.
Wow.
From when we went to excuse me, somebody had told us about a rooftop bar restaurant. And so we went and found that rooftop bar restaurant and went upstairs and we're like, oh yeah. So we were able to enjoy that as well. Um, so, but this is the one that has the Viennese recital. I have been to a classical Viennese recital. It was amazing. It was so cool. So it is worth going if it's something that would interest you in the evening. Um, I like I said, I didn't do it in this trip, but I had done it on another trip, so that's why I didn't do it. But um, it's a good it was a good experience. It was really fun to go. So that optional tour is $73 per person. So, and all of these prices on your trip summaries are per person price. So, and it's approximately 2.5 hours. Milk Abbey. I also went to the Milk Abbey. It's stunningly beautiful. I would guess that you'll be walking from the port because it wasn't too far of a walk. Um, I do recommend getting like a nice pair of comfortable boots. I wore Sorels because it's chilly and it can rain. Um, and you will do a good amount of walking. So I definitely recommend getting a nice pair of boots. I know that some people had duck boots on. Those to me are not that warm and they're not that comfortable to be in all day, but my Sorels were amazing. And if you do use duck boots, I had a friend who used them and she just got a lot of merino wool socks. Um, and that was what kind of kept her feet warm. But the Milk Abbey, it sits up on this hill, but there's like a windy road that you'll go through the little town and then you'll walk up to the Abbey. It is gorgeous. It's beautiful. It is worth the walking up to the Abbey to go and explore it. And I imagine I have it right here actually. When I was going through the little town, they had this, oh, you can't see it because it's green. Oh, maybe you can a little. There you go. There was this little pottery shop, and the potter was there creating all of these things with clay. And so I try to pick up something from every little town, every trip I take. And so this is what I purchased. But he had beautiful, beautiful pieces there, and you'll see all these gorgeous little shops and little pastry shops and things like that. And you're really going to enjoy your time at this stop for sure. Any questions about that?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Passau, another place that I absolutely enjoyed Passau, but I also think it's worth it to take that trip to Salzburg. Salzburg it's an all day thing. So if you go to Salzburg, you will not be going to the Passau Christmas markets. I enjoyed the Passau Christmas markets, but I think if I had the choice, I probably would go to Salzburg. Um, it's it's gorgeous. It's the sound of music. It's all the things. Um, and you won't be disappointed if you stayed in Passau. I'll say that. So, I mean, you're not going to have a bad experience either way. Um, so, and it just, they make a comment here that if you choose to go to Salzburg, you won't be able to do the orientation walk of Passau. And Passau, they'll just take you through the town, give you a little bit of lay of the land, and then kind of let you go. And Passau is very different than most of the cities. It was interesting when you go into Passau, you'll look and it looks very old, and there's a lot of it's beautiful. And then, but then if there's like a couple blocks over and it seems very modern. It's kind of crazy. I was like, where are we? Are we like in New York City? Like the shopping was very modern and what have you. So it's a cool place to explore too. But Salzburg it's a long tour. It's $85. It's full day. But I do think if you don't know that you'd ever come back, it might be a place that you would want to go see. Regensburg. Regensburg, I was pleasantly surprised with how cool Regensburg was. I made a note on here about you'll definitely want to go to the Thurn and Taxi Palace Christmas markets. Um, there is an entry fee to get in. I think it was like €9 or something. You can pre-purchase tickets or they have a ticket window. I recommend if just go to the ticket window. It wasn't a big deal. They do have, it's kind of interesting. They have security there, so they'll make sure that everybody's, you go through and they're checking bags and all the things. But this is a picture I took at that Christmas market. It was by far my favorite Christmas market. Um, it was beautiful. There's alpacas there. They have a champagne tree house. I mean, food everywhere. The little shops. I cannot even speak more highly of this. This was by far our favorite Christmas market the entire time we went on the trip. Um, so Regensburg also was the place that I thought, I don't know how many of you are looking for like nutcrackers or those pyramids that you see. They're called pyramids. They're the wooden, you light candles under them and all the little things that go around. There is this amazing shop right on the water that you can go get those things and they ship them to you. I got 2 nutcrackers and a pyramid shipped to me from one of the shops in Regensburg. It was not in the market itself. But the little shop was amazing. Highly recommend you go through and just go to the little shops in addition to doing the Christmas markets. There's the Thurns and Taxi is the one that costs money, and then they have one outside of this area that doesn't have an entry fee at all. It's just outdoors and you can just wander through. So again, loved it. They offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner on the ship, but oftentimes if like we were out during lunch, we would just go get lunch. We didn't go back to the ship. It's available, but you don't have to. And then you're going to have, I think it's the next day, yep, is disembarkation day in Regensburg. And so you'll decide, are you going to stay a night in Regensburg or are you just going to go right to the Munich airport, which is the closest airport? It's about a 45-minute drive to the Munich airport from Regensburg. So keep that in mind. They will ask you to disembark by 9:30. So if you decide you're going to stay in Regensburg, again, we would just I have the hotel that we stayed at it was very cool. It was not fancy. It was like old school. I'll have to find some pictures for our next conversation, but they had this key that was like with this huge, like, I can't even tell you. It was like an old school key. It was great, but it's a really great location. And you could stay there, drop off your luggage there and go out and explore some more. Or like I said, if you decide your day in Regensburg was great, then you can just head back. The nice thing about having an overnight in Regensburg is that you could decide that you don't want to do dinner on the ship and you could go get a dinner, like a traditional German dinner in Regensburg. There's a lot of great restaurants there. Or do lunch, whatever. The ground transfer to Munich airport is $162 a person. Depending on what you want to do, I might be able to find something even less than $162 per person for all of you. But it is a pricier. It's further away than Budapest, for example. The Budapest airport, you fly into Budapest and you're in Budapest. This is about an hour, 45-minute to an hour drive. So that's the price. Let me see. Do you guys have any questions about your itinerary or anything?
I have a question, but you may be going over it pretty soon.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Maybe it just came to mind. Money. Does the ship have an exchange place on the ship to change in money? Do you use credit card? What did you do when you went over there?
So I took some cash, euros,
Okay.
because there are some of the little shops that prefer cash, but most places take credit cards now.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Now, I will say there are some, like, so for example, in the Thurns and Taxi um, Christmas market, restrooms, a lot of times you have to pay for. So I did have some smaller change. So, like, when we got to the hotel, um, we actually, so when we went, we flew to Paris, stayed in Paris for a few days, and then we flew to Munich. And then from Munich, we just took a direct, we had a transfer that drove us to Regensburg, and then we stayed in Regensburg. When I was in Regensburg, I took some of my larger bills and I asked at the hotel if they would break them for me. And if they couldn't, I went to the coffee shop across the street and took one of my bigger bills and bought myself a coffee. And I asked for some change because some of them are like change, like coins. So I would have a purse that you can have some coins, because a lot of times you'll get some coins back. Um, and like the smaller bills are in coins; they're not like in dollars. Um, and then for tipping, like if the tipping culture there is a little bit different. It's You're not going to tip 20%, but they all appreciated getting a little bit of a tip. So we always tipped all of our servers at restaurants or bars or whatever. Around 10% is pretty much the standard. Even our guides, like if we had a special guide that took us places and gave us information, we would tip them as well. And then at the end of the cruise, you'll have the option to put either cash in an envelope for gratuities. They'll kind of give you the standard of what they recommend, or you can ask to have it put on your credit card. I had extra cash at the end that I didn't want to bring home, so I just put it in the envelope they provided or whatever. But I definitely would have some cash on you. you know um, the other thing about cash is sometimes it's a good way to negotiate at some of the markets, like some of the vendors that, because they pay the fees, the credit card fees that everyone pays. So sometimes it's like, well, if I pay cash, is it better, or will you give me a better deal? So that's kind of how we.
Cash in the envelopes at the end of the cruise. Did you do euros as well, or was that US dollars?
We used euros. I mean,
Okay.
I think they actually gave both amounts, but I always used euros. I
Okay.
I didn't use American dollars.
Okay. Perfect.
I always use euros. And my recommendation is what we do, because you have a year, just like I had
Mhm.
almost a year. And this year I was from last December until this time right now, I literally spent 2 months in Europe over the times that I went on 3 different trips. I went on 3 different trips. So I did 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and then 3 weeks. Um, so what I did, knowing that I was going to be in Europe so long, is, well, I'm going to act like I did it. My husband Casey, I was like, "You're going to watch the exchange rate," and when the exchange rate was great, then he would just like at the bank, he would put in an order to get some of the euros. So
Oh,
over the
Yeah,
year, we just collected euros.
we get a discount. So if you guys when it gets closer, you let me know.
oh,
Um,
good
So I
deal.
didn't even know that, Luann. Really?
yeah, you get a discounted rate as an employee.
I
Ah,
knew it.
Flight attendants used to get a discount. We don't anymore.
You don't.
yeah.
Nope.
I can hook you up on this
You
one,
can hook
Tammy.
me up, girl. All right.
Mhm.
That's
Well,
where
let
your
me know,
carrot's
Luann.
butter, right?
Yep, that's
Yeah.
exactly
So
right.
so go to Bank of Luann.
Yes.
But I do recommend, like, honestly, and the other thing is, if here's one thing, a piece of advice too, is make sure that your credit card that you use allows you to use it in a foreign place without foreign transaction fees. So that is one piece. And then when you go, oftentimes when you use your credit card, they'll ask you, do you want it in US dollars or do you want it in euros? Do it in euros. It generally is better for the conversion.
Okay.
So that's my advice on that.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. The only other thing I will say, and I will try to add something to your trip summary, is just about the like using the converters, the chargers, adapters, things like that. Um, there are some prohibited items. So when you go in and look at gate one, they'll give you a list of prohibited items when we go get your final documents. Like you're not allowed to bring a steamer for your clothing. Um, a lot of them say you can't bring like a curling iron or flat iron. I've never had an issue on any cruise I've ever been on, but I will tell you that you're going to want to make sure that your hair appliance is dual voltage, meaning it's like it's I think it's 110 and 240 is the other. And then if you get a adapter, you want to make sure it's not just an adapter, but it's a converter. So that if you plug in your appliance or you plug in your phone, it doesn't somehow blow up your appliance. You'll want to make sure it's not just an adapter, but it's a converter because our appliances and our things run at a different wattage than what they do in Europe standardly.
Hey, Kathy, did you take a backpack suitcase or a rolling suitcase, or what'd you take?
Okay, so because I am me, all of us packed a suitcase and a suitcase because we knew we were going to be bringing a lot of crap home. So what I did is and here's the other thing. If you're flying, like if you have a connection and you end up on a European airline, you need to be very aware of the European baggage requirements because they're different than in the United States. So, for example, their carry on luggage, the rolling carry on luggage that we can take on an American Airlines flight, for example, I cannot take on a Air France flight or Aer Lingus flight. It's too big, and they would force me to check it and pay the fee to check it. So I have European luggage that I use if I'm going to do carry on for my European. And they're very strict about the weight of the item and the sizes. And when they say size, they like literally measure all the sides and add it up. So I recommend you look at every airline that you go to and you look to see what their requirements are. The other piece of it was the transfers. So we had our own transfers. And so our transfers are like you get one personal item and one piece of luggage. We're like, oh my gosh. So that was the other reason we did luggage inside of luggage, because then we could, on the way home, we just got two different transfer vehicles. We just paid extra for two different transfer vehicles because there was four of us and we knew we would have a lot of luggage. We had a lot of luggage. I mean, I'm sure that they thought we were absolutely insane because we all had two decent sized pieces of luggage because we had a large, we had our medium and then our small inside of it. So it was a little crazy. The other one of my friends did not put a full like luggage inside a luggage. She did a large like duffel bag, but she checked the duffel bag. And she put all her dirty clothes in the duffel bag and then used her sided suitcase for any of the valuables and things that she, might get smushed.
That does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I also, my husband is a huge proponent and loves the foldy. So the foldy thing, he got all of us one last year for Christmas. And then the other thing that's very interesting in Europe, and I don't have it right here, but I actually bought a bunch of them at one in Passau. I think there was a little shop that had these little tiny like shopping bags that zipped up. They zipped up really tiny that could be in my pocket. And because they don't give you bags, they don't have bags like you go to we went to the grocery store, for example, because I know this is crazy, but we went to this grocery store in Regensburg to get mustard because we went to this restaurant and it had the most amazing mustard. And we're like, where can we get it? And the guy's like, just go to the grocery store right here. So we go in the grocery store thinking we're going to get a bag of like, no bag. We had to buy a bag at the grocery store. So we bought this crazy cloth bag at the grocery store. So we used that. So then we realized we're not going to have bags at these stores. So we carried that we bought our little grocery bag and we had it. We carried it around, but then we found these really cute ones that had like really cute patterns. So we all bought one so that when we go back to Europe, we'll always have something to carry our things in because they just don't give you bags and things like that. So
Kathy, on
That's
the
another.
on the night at the night when you're nights when you're eating dinner, people don't dress up, do they? Like on this kind of cruise, it's just your whatever you are during the day for your market and
I
stuff.
literally wore my jeans, my sweater. No, we did not dress up. In fact,
Okay.
Perfect.
one night I went and changed into my joggers and had like, no, we were so casual. I mean, we were dancing on the dance floor and I'm in my joggers. I took off my shoes. I was in my socks. I was like, forget it. Like, I just needed a break. Yeah, no, it's very casual. You'll see
And
some
it,
people who will, but no.
yeah. And at the Vienna concert, do they dress up there? Like,
That I
is
would
that
say you probably have to have like a pair of dress pants and a nicer
okay?
shirt. But that would be the only time, honestly. The rest of the time, we literally layered. I layered everything. I don't know if you can see, like a thin like shirt like this was layered underneath a sweater. And then even so I bought this $30 jacket from Costco. It was a it's a Land's End jacket. The outside is windproof and waterproof. And then it had a vest that was like zipped in that you could zip in and out. So it was like a heavier quilted vest. And then I had one of those, those packable, really thin packable winter jackets that you can kind of roll up and make real thin. I even wore that. So I wore that. I had that jacket on, and then I had the vest, and then I had my raincoat, and I just layered everything so I could just take off layers if I wanted to. That's what I primarily used. You'll definitely want something that's got some wind and rain protection. Mine had a hood on it. All of us ended up buying these adorable hats at that Therns and Taxis um, Christmas market because they were so cute. We just had to have one. So, and they're very like old fashioned, cute little cap, like winter caps, but we loved it. And it was the best. We took all of our pictures. They had like little flowers on it. It was just, we would never, it was just a fun, cute thing to do. So, yeah,
Oh,
that's what I
I'm
recommend
excited.
for a jacket. Yeah. Yeah. We didn't need, I think we brought like thin layered, like long johns or like things to wear, but we never really needed it for our legs. We had like our jackets went over like mid thigh, like they were a little longer. We made sure that they were a little longer. But we really didn't need anything else than our sweaters and our layered clothing.
So
It
your
was
legs didn't get
fine.
cold through those jeans?
No,
That's what I'm worried about. Okay.
no.
What about
Mm-mm.
your head? Have like a toboggan or whatever is what I call them. I don't know.
Yeah,
Earmuff.
just a little hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just wore the little hat that we bought.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Nothing too crazy.
Good.
Even gloves, we didn't go too crazy. I mean, we had them. One of my friends, she's hilarious. She literally brought a full pack of those like hand warmers that you crunch up and you put them in your gloves. So, I mean, we all kind of just brought something that we thought would be helpful for everybody. So, like liquid IV, I brought liquid IV. One brought the heat hand warmer. You know what I mean? We all just kind of brought a little something that we thought was going to be helpful for all of us to enjoy the trip. But it was just fun things like that. Yeah. What else?
I can't think of anything.
Me neither.
The ones that I've wanted to know. So yeah, I'm so glad we had this call. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah,
It's
no,
great.
I wanted to do it earlier and then it just got crazy. And then I was like, it's so far away. I'm gonna wait till it gets closer. I figured you guys were gonna be excited closer towards the time when the Christmas markets were gonna be happening because
Oh my
it kind of
Lord,
gets you
how can I get
thinking.
any more excited? It's crazy.
I know, I know, I know. I'm telling you, you are going to, I'm like, I really want to just go with you. It's so fun.
Come on.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I'm
Casey will
just
love
trying
that.
to,
But see, the thing is that I didn't tell y'all when Kathy said that she was about 10 years younger than people were younger. She's one of the youngest. She doesn't realize that all of us are 10 years older
all
than
of us
she
are.
is. So they're probably our age.
No,
Exactly.
no, no. Keep going, girl. Keep going. Keep going.
I'm just
No.
trying to figure out how much extra money I need to spend.
Lots, Joe, lots.
Well, Okay, pro player tip. Is my husband anywhere around?
Yes.
I took cash so I could spend it, and he didn't like go on the credit card and go, "Wait, you spent this much on that?" Like, I didn't. None
Yeah.
of that needed to happen.
Yeah.
Because y'all don't know Casey, but he would give her a $1 coupon and say, "Why didn't you use that at the grocery store?"
Luann knows. He's a great guy, but he's
Yeah, oh,
just
he's super.
very because he's just like. But then he was fine once everything came. He was like, "Oh, I love this. I love it." I'm like, "Just don't ask me how much it was, honey."
Give me an idea on something you purchased and how much it was.
Like a nutcracker. Like
I was
if
going
you,
to say that.
Okay,
They're expensive.
they are
They're
like they can be
expensive.
upwards of $200.
Yeah.
well,
Okay.
Like
that's
mine,
okay.
I think my
That's really expensive.
yeah. And here's another pro player tip. So like for example, my friend and I, we sent everything in one package because it was going to be cheaper to go to one address than have it sent to all of our addresses.
Smart.
So
Yeah.
So where did you go? Did you just find a post office, or did the place,
no,
the market?
like the play no the so we bought the nutcrackers and the pyramid thing from a little shop in
that is a real
Regensburg.
store. Yeah, it was a
It
real
was a
store.
real store, and then they sent it.
Okay.
But yes, they do have like post offices in the area, but like most of the other stuff I just packed with me.
Yeah.
I packed everything else.
Those would be the most fragile and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
expensive.
And more than likely, you won't get them before Christmas. I didn't get them for Christmas. In fact, they showed up on New Year's Eve day, which
Yeah.
was actually kind of fun because my friend who was with me on the Christmas market, she was at the house. We ended up for New Year's Eve, we decided that we were going to do a German. We made homemade German sausages. We made like bratwurst. I made homemade German rolls, and we made homemade spetzel. I got German beer. So I did a whole German feast. We made
Wow.
homemade German sauerkraut. Like it was a whole German feast for New Year's Eve this year. So we were making all that. And then all of a sudden this delivery came. And so it was kind of fun to open it
Oh,
up.
that'd be
And we were
fun.
like,
Yeah.
like we put, even though it was after Christmas, we were like, here's my nutcracker and here's so
And you
So
can pack it away for next year. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
I'd
Just
leave
say
that baby out.
if you're buying Christmas presents for that current year, you better carry them on the plane with you.
Yeah.
You need to carry them on the plane.
Yeah.
Yes. If you're buying them for this year,
Mhm.
you need to carry them. And if not, then, and like I said, I wanted to make sure that it got there in one piece and it was insured. And
Right.
so I was like, I had no problem paying for it
Very nice.
to be shipped. So yeah. And they have like those beautiful nativity scenes. I mean, I can't even tell you how many beautiful things there are. I mean, but then you're going to see areas that are like, yeah, you can get that off of Amazon and you're like, what are they doing here? So don't be surprised by that and don't be discouraged and you're going to see that too. And there's like, I'm telling you, the food is phenomenal. What we ended up doing is, and I'm trying to think, it was at the Thurns and Taxi, in the middle of the courtyard of the palace. They had all these food stands set up and they had all of these barrels with like fire around them so you could stand next to it and it was very warm. And the wine, oh yeah, that's another thing. We got these. Sorry, I'm stood up, but I'm so excited. We get these. Oh, you can't. Oh, wait. Can you? There you go.
Yeah.
These are the cups that you get for the wine. This is what the wine comes in. And you pay a deposit, just so you know. So you'll pay like a $3 deposit, and you'll get your 3 euros. And you'll get your euros back if you return these and then they wash them and use them. But if you want to keep them, you just keep them. So I just kept them. Like at the places I went, I kept them. I didn't get it at every place because I just kind of was like, okay, I've had it. I tried it. It's, whatever. But it's mulled wine. It's really good. They have different flavors, different places. And the cups are, they're different at every single Christmas market.
Okay. Cool.
So it's really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. But so going back to the food. So that area in the middle of that little courtyard area, we all wanted to try everything. So then we all decided, okay, each person's going to get one thing. And we just literally just shared. Like there was this mushroom with these little dumplings thing. I mean, it was like gnocchi with this mushroom gravy. It was so, I was like, oh my gosh, like I could swim in this stuff. Like, how do I make it at home? So it was, that's the fun part,
Yeah.
and you'll meet people from all over the world. It's, there's just nothing better. It was one of my favorite trips I've taken
Good.
for sure.
Sounds pretty
You ladies are
magical.
going to make a lot of good
So
memories.
excited.
Very
Yes.
excited.
Sounds very
Yeah.
magical.
Yeah.
We all
And I
tweet
just,
to make it get here faster.
I know. It'll be here before you know it. Just start
Wait, we
like
gotta have time
collecting
to
a few
save money
things.
though.
Yeah, no, because I got to make more money.
Yes. And I would just say, like, just put a little bit aside every month, like, because I think one of the things that I realized when I got there, I didn't realize how much I was going to enjoy the markets and see things that I really wanted to like get, because it's stuff that you can't get here. And it's
Yeah.
just
You may
so
never see
unique.
it.
And you may never see. And for me, like, I love to go. Here's another thing that we would get. I don't know if you can see this guy. There you go.
Oh,
The
he's
smokers.
cute.
They have these
Yeah.
little smokers too. So this one is a more new style, but then I have this old one that I had purchased another time when I was in Germany.
Oh my gosh, he's cute.
But this is an old one. Like this one's by a company like a Steinbach. It's really like,
Oh my God.
whatever. But you don't realize, like, you're going to find things that you're going to want to get, and you don't want to feel guilty about buying it. You know what I
Right.
mean? You want to just feel like, you know what, this is my money to spend on, this is what it's for. And just, at least that's how I just never wanted to like
Get home
sit
and
there
say, I wish I'd bought
and
that.
regret
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
didn't. Yes, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So Tammy, when are you
Yes.
going back to
When am I
Germany?
going back to Germany?
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, those little fire things that twirl, I've looked at those every single year. Every single
Mhm.
year I go to Germany. And when I've spent I mean, most of you know how I love to decorate at Christmas. And I have spent more money in Germany on Christmas ornaments than any place else in the world.
Yeah,
That's
I believe
Oh.
it.
Because, because they're so unique and so beautiful.
yeah.
They are so I got some hand blown glass ornaments.
same.
I
Yeah.
mean, I cannot even tell you. And now I told my husband I need a travel tree because I get ornaments every single place I go.
I have a travel tree. Yeah, I
and
have
so
a
I'm like, I
travel
need
tree.
a travel
Right.
tree. And he's like, oh my God. He was like, girl,
Yeah, it's great. It's my favorite
But-
tree too. It's my favorite one.
yeah,
So
I'm
many
sure it
stories
is.
about the ornaments or whatever. So many stories. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just and it's just the memories. It's
Memories.
about and I think that's, I always say, like, yes, I love the destination. I generally love the destinations and it's great, but it's really about all the memories you make while you're at the destination. And it's about meeting the people and just, I don't know, there's just nothing like it for me.
Yeah.
I just love it so much. And I love sharing that with other people. So like, this is like this fills my cup to be able to share all this with you because I'm so excited for you. Like I'm
Yay.
genuinely like excited. So I don't ever want you to feel like if you ask questions or send me an email or whatever, it's never going to be a bother. If you're wondering, just ask. I'll even send you some links to some things on Amazon that I think might be helpful, like things you may want to consider to get.
Yeah.
They're not have to. I'll tell you, like, this is something that's more of a priority than this. I will say AirTags have been a savior for me. I put AirTags in all my bags that I carry, that I put on a plane. It doesn't matter if I'm carrying it or I'm whatever. I have my AirTags on all of my things, and it has saved me more times than I can tell you. I highly recommend it.
What exactly is that?
Do you have Apple
Well,
product?
You
She
have to have an
does.
iPhone. Yeah, I can see you have an
hook you up
iPhone.
to
So if you have otherwise use Tile. Tile's the same thing for for Android, but an AirTag just allows you to so it's like in your Find My app of your phone, but you can designate each AirTag, you connect it to your phone and you just designate what it's for. And I always put like blue large luggage,
Oh,
my purse, my backpack, whatever. So I have multiple. I probably have, I don't know, I probably have five AirTags. And I think you can get a 4-pack now, I think for like $70 maybe.
Yeah, 60 bucks.
60,
Yeah.
yeah, something like that.
that's
And then they
smart.
have these little cases that you can put them in, little keychain things. And I just put them in all of my pieces of luggage. That way, if you walk away from something or somebody takes something, or especially my purse, I always have it on my purse.
Awesome.
If you
And
lose
I
your
will share
car,
with you, I
I
will
will.
also, yeah, I
I
will
lost
also
my
share
car,
with
so
you.
my kids brought me my AirTags because I
Okay,
couldn't
that's
find my car.
hysterical.
Do
Oh
it.
my gosh, that's awesome. I will
My
also
kids
share
have,
with you a travel bag that I use. That I use an anti-theft travel bag. It's
Okay.
that I might have right here.
See, these are the
Oh,
things.
nope, I don't. It's in my suitcase. But I highly recommend it. It's got clips so that you can't just unzip it. It's great.
Okay.
So and that is from Amazon too. So I'll get a little list together, and in the next couple weeks I'll send you some of those items. Let
Great.
me make it.
Great. We would love that.
Yeah.
it'd be helpful.
And I've been trying to make sure that under the subject of the emails, I'm trying to like put what it is so that you guys can find it when you're searching through
Yeah.
emails, you'll know.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect. Is there anything else? I don't want to keep you guys. I just want to make sure that you feel comfortable and good. The
I
only
think
thing I
that's
would
a perfect start.
Me too.
Yeah.
I do too.
good. So the only thing I'm going to ask from y'all is if you could, by Monday, and I'll send a reminder email after this, by Monday, if you could reply back to me with who wants what in terms of if you know which options for excursions you want and if you want transfers added. If you don't know about transfers, definitely I'd like to get the excursions added because I don't know if they have a capacity limit and I don't want it to be sold out.
Okay.
So
Fair
I
enough.
think, at the minimum by Monday having the excursions, but if you know that you're going to want those transfers, let me know. One last thing I was going to share is they are great about coordinating like a taxi. So like at disembarkation, I hadn't arranged for a transfer. I just had the night before they just said, what time do you want a taxi to be there? And we just had a taxi ordered from them. And that's what they did. So it was great. But we were in Vienna and we also weren't going to the airport. We were just going to a hotel because we were staying another night or two. But they will arrange that too. So you have a lot of options. You're never going to feel stuck.
Thank you,
Okay.
Kat.
Great.
Yes.
Sounds
Awesome.
good.
Well, it was so good to meet all of you. I really appreciate you taking your time today. I know everybody's busy and everybody's time is valuable. I appreciate you. I appreciate your business. And I just want you to feel really comfortable and good about your trip. So I hope you do.
You did, Kathy.
I'm
Thank
so far.
you.
Thank you so
Excited.
much, Kathy.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you for all the
Thank you, Kathy.
information.
Thank you
Oh
for
my gosh.
together.
My pleasure. You just
Yeah.
let me know.